Good evening and welcome to Trending Tonight, the only show on primetime television where we care to explain the news behind the trend. So what's trending today? You pick up the newspaper and you will see full-page ads by WhatsApp, the parent company Facebook, trying to explain to people that, see, there's nothing wrong. We respect and protect your privacy. They say that respect for your privacy is coded into our DNA, right? Then they explain what hasn't changed. They say what has changed. In what has changed, they say, we want to be clear that the policy update does not affect the privacy of your messages with friends or family in any way. Instead, this update includes changes related to messaging on a business on WhatsApp, which is optional and provides further transparency about how we collect and use data. This is the explanation of WhatsApp in an advertisement. You know, the thing with advertisement is that it's supposed to make the advertiser look good. Nothing wrong in that. But sometimes, or many would argue, almost always, the devil lies in the details. And where are the details? This complete 12-page WhatsApp policy. This is WhatsApp's privacy policy. Let's go through this, shall we? And let's see how much of what is being claimed in the advert is actually true. So this is a WhatsApp privacy policy. Let's go through it one by one. So at the very beginning it says, if you live in the European region, WhatsApp Ireland Limited provides the services to you, right? But if you live outside the European region, let's zoom in a little so that you can see, this is the fine print. That's the problem. It's the fine print. There you go. So if you live outside the European region, WhatsApp LLC provides our services, which means that there is a separate set of law for the European region. Why? Because there are tougher data security laws and a different set of rules applicable, say, in a country like India, where you don't have a data privacy bill. Okay, so what do they say? They say this is the information we collect. They give out information, your account information. You must provide your mobile number, basic information, including a profile name. Now, this is a prerequisite. You're supposed to give all of this, otherwise you won't be able to use WhatsApp. This has been happening for a very long time. Let's move on now. And this last line says, status information. You may provide us your status if you choose to. That's fine. All of this is fine. They give out details right here on the various things that they say. Let me show you this page. It says your messages. We do not retain your messages in the ordinary course of providing our services. Your messages are stored on your device. Then they say, give out the reasons when your message can be it can be shared. Fine print again, when it is undelivered or when there is media forwarding. All of this is fine. But then you come to this paragraph right here, which says automatically collected information. And what all does WhatsApp collect? And you will have to read with me. It says, we collect information about your activity on our services, service settings, how you interact with others using our services, including when you interact with the business, and the time, frequency, which means the time that you have spent on WhatsApp, frequency of your conversation, duration of your conversation, of your activities and interactions. It's crystal clear. Log files, diagnostic, crash, website. Then they go on to say, and to use our services, features you use like messaging, calling, status, groups, including group name, group picture, group description, payments or business features, profile photo, about, online, last seen, last updated, your about information. So one really wonders that when WhatsApp says that all we want as far as this new policy is concerned is hardware model, operating system, information, battery level, that's not true. Right here, they basically want everything. And this is the term of engagement, right? This is the term of engagement, right? Let's move on. Business on WhatsApp. There are a whole lot of conditions on how this data is going to be shared with third-party services, which may include, look at this. When you message with a business on WhatsApp, keep in mind that the content you share may be visible to several people in that business. In addition, some business might be working with third-party service providers, which may include Facebook, right? Which may include Facebook, right here. It's right here, okay? Let's move on now. On third-party providers, this is long. I'm not going to bore you with a lot of detail and come straight to the point. In the previous policy on third-party banner ads, or very irritating third-party ads, you have this document saying we still do not allow third-party banner ads, which was the position in their earlier document also. However, a line has creeped in which says we have no intention to introduce them, but if we ever do, we will update this privacy policy, which means a door has been left ajar and open for a possible inclusion of this also. Many would argue, so what? I mean, this is a company trying to make money. Now they explain, and this is the important point, this is their terms and conditions for their engagement. So it says, our idea of working with third-party service providers, which means to be giving your data to someone else, is with the intention to operate, provide, improve, understand, customize, support and market our services. Market our services, right? And how do they explain that? What all is WhatsApp going to do with your data? It comes right here. Again, the fine print. So zoom in a little because this is going to take some time and some strain on the eyes reading. It says how we work with other Facebook companies. As part of Facebook companies, WhatsApp receives information from and shares information with. And then it goes on to give some self-praising reasons, helping improve infrastructure, understanding how services or theirs are used, promoting safety, security, integrity. And then this point, ladies and gentlemen, which perhaps will give you a clear idea of what the intention is, and a lot of experts have spoken about this, improving their services, such as making suggestions for you of friends or group connections, giving you suggestions of who you can have as your friends on the basis of your WhatsApp information, group connections, which group you may or may not want to join, some interesting content. How lovely. Some interesting content, personalizing features and content, helping you complete purchases and transactions. And here is what I call the most important point, which a lot of experts have highlighted right here, and showing relevant offers and ads across the Facebook company. Showing relevant offers and ads across the Facebook company. And see, all of this is binding because the last page, which is right here, laws, our rights and protection. What all are the rights of WhatsApp? So they say we access, preserve and share your information, right? We access, preserve and share your information described in all of the above. And then they give out the reasons. Why do they share? Respond pursuant to applicable law, which is fine. Legal processes. Government requests, which is again fine if the government wants some data. Investigation, potential violations, detect, investigate, prevent, address fraud. All of that is fine. But look at this. Enforce our terms and any other applicable terms and policies. Now this entire policy and all the data that they want, let's quickly go back to that point, that page number 2, right here, on all the data that they are collecting. WhatsApp, in a way, is giving itself rights not just to collect other information, but among the others, all these as well. Messaging, calling, status, groups, group name, group picture, group description, payment, business, profile photo, everything about, online, last seen, all information. It's an information-hungry system. And obviously, these 12 pages of fine print will be inconvenient to print on one page of a newspaper. There's nothing against WhatsApp, the company, right? But the point is, how should we be treating this new policy change? That's the point that we are raising and discussing right here on the show. I would like to introduce our guest this evening. Uddhav Tiwari is a public policy advisor at Mozilla. Gurshabad Grover, Program Manager, Center for Internet and Society. We also have Kazim Rizvi, founder of The Dialogue, and Kiran Chandra, General Secretary of Free Software Movement of India. Thank you so much, all of you all, for joining us. Uddhav Tiwari, let's begin with you first. What is there in the advertisement? WhatsApp has attempted to explain. Signal is going around town saying that this is a signal for your privacy. Where do you stand on this issue? Let's get in the experts first. Uddhav Tiwari, let's begin with you. What would you have to say about what's there in the policy? Is this standard legal format, or is that more that one should read into?
Thank you. I mean, I would say that broadly speaking, the data that WhatsApp collects can be split into two categories, right? Like there's data itself, which is the messages that you send to people in private chats or as a part of private groups. And then there is metadata. A lot of the sort of information that you just read from that privacy policy and terms and conditions that WhatsApp has actually is metadata, which is information that is not the messaging itself, but contains information about who you messaged, at what time you messaged, and different ways in which you use the application. So I think that we need to be quite clear that the usage of metadata in order to target advertising is something that WhatsApp has been talking about for quite some time. And this policy simply makes it clearer about the different ways in which they can do that. Sure. However, because of end-to-end encryption and the basic technology that WhatsApp is built on, WhatsApp will still not be able to read your individual messages that you send to people in private groups or in private chats. However, when it comes to WhatsApp for Business, which is a completely different use case where businesses can communicate with consumers similar to how they do so over SMS right now, this in that scenario, Facebook and WhatsApp may be able to sort of utilize this data to target ads on you in other companies in the Facebook ecosystem.
Yeah, Mr. Tiwari, I come to this point number on page number 5, the first point, and I'm just going to read this out, right? Information others provide about you. We receive information about you from other users. For example, when other users use our services, they may provide your phone number, name, other information. And then it goes on to explain what businesses on WhatsApp, on how businesses you interact with using our services may provide us information about their interactions with you. Do you realize the problem is that somehow in what you're trying to explain to me and in what WhatsApp is saying, it appears as if WhatsApp is trying to differentiate between personal privacy and privacy of an individual in his personal capacity, communication on WhatsApp with a business. Why can't both these things be private? I may want to do business privately.
Well, I would say that in this case, those chats that you have with a WhatsApp for Business are end-to-end encrypted as well. However, if that business decides to take your information from that chat and target ads upon you in different platforms, right? So for example, imagine you're speaking to a life insurance company on WhatsApp, and because of that, the next time that you log into Facebook, you see an ad for that same life insurance company because Facebook has your phone number and the life insurance company has shared that information with you, then that's definitely the sort of ad tracking that WhatsApp is doing, and that is certainly something that is not as privacy protecting as Signal is. So I completely agree with you in the sense that there are better, more privacy protecting and non-ad tracking based apps.
I'll tell you why I asked this question, Mr. Grover. I asked this question because when people moved into WhatsApp from the day and age of BlackBerry Messenger and iMessage and other platforms, because this was seen as one platform that was just meant for messaging and was connecting cross platforms, everyone. So whether you're on BlackBerry, you're on Nokia Lumia, you're on Microsoft, you're on Android, it connects everyone. Obviously, people were expecting only personal chats right here. But now it has become much more than just a personal messenger. And I guess that seems to be a little discomforting. While all other apps are in a public domain, they are for a social profile. This is not a social media app. This is a private app, personal app. You talk to your relatives, loved ones on this app. Mr. Grover.
Yeah, so I think to sort of contextualize this development, we have to just look at the fact that WhatsApp was acquired by Facebook in 2016. And when they acquired WhatsApp, they did specifically say that they will not have any data sharing between these two companies, between WhatsApp and the parent company, Facebook. And we've seen them sort of renege on that promise gradually, but surely over the last 4 years. And this is also a matter which is sort of pending in the Delhi High Court.
Do you think that they're normalizing this? trying to devalue the word
absolutely.
privacy.
Why I'm mentioning this is because Facebook's business model, all of its revenue comes from selling advertisements, right? And therefore, it's a logical step in that direction to sort of enable communication with
But
businesses.
not when you have made the promise very openly.
Yeah, precisely. So I think if you are trying to find an application just for private communication, then you want to be rest assured that all your metadata, the information about who you're contacting is not used, then perhaps WhatsApp is not the safe choice for your personal communication anymore. I completely agree.
Okay. Very quickly, Mr. Kiran Chandra, let me come to you. See, the point is, when people initially came on this platform, there was very little knowledge about issues like privacy and the sale of data. Data was not oil, or not so much oil at that point in time, right? It's only now that people are getting aware of how data is being used and how people themselves have become the product. So my point is that today, at that time, we didn't know that WhatsApp is going to unleash this powerful, advertising tool on each one of us, and also put like a my way or the highway sort of an approach. Today, Signal offers that availability. Today Signal creates, or Signal app creates an opportunity for all of us to believe that, see, this is completely private. Tomorrow, Signal is acquired by someone, say a company as powerful as Facebook, and they tweak and change their policy. So while all of this happens, where does the consumer go? Or do I just keep packing up and moving from one app to another?
You see, we need to understand the primary difference between Signal and WhatsApp or Facebook. The Signal messenger services is not just a messenger service. So it's a community-driven project where the entire source code of the complete application is available on the net. And if somebody wants to, that's the reason why it is so secure. And even if there are certain questions that are raised, they can be answered. People can just go and look into the source code of Signal and then look at what is happening there. Even when Signal says that it stands for check. So if you want to check something, if what a claim is being made, we have the opportunity to look at the code,
Correct.
inspect the code and check it.
Correct.
But on the contrary, when you look at the systems of Facebook, or you could say, when I say Facebook, I speak about all the products that are there under the Facebook. You do not have any option. So it's not just my way or highway. There is another kind of a thing saying that I'm the fittest, you need to believe whatever I say. And I think we are past the ages of few thousands of years of the days of the jungle Raj, where you say, I'm the fittest and I say and you will have to listen to me. So the fundamental arguments that are being raised today by Facebook, I would just going to step back a bit and say that it's not just that Facebook is changing its privacy policies only today. And is there any guarantee that has Facebook not been doing all this stuff even prior to this? In 2016,
Correct.
when we just made an exposure of what kind of a data, what kind of an advertisements can be made in Facebook,
Sure.
Facebook was clearly giving us data based on the caste and also on their economic status of the entire population in India, whoever are there on the platform.
Correct.
So it is basically creating a walled garden, even you and I using the same mobile phone, same internet connection, and you and I will not be getting the same advertisement of a product because Facebook essentially sells to the advertisers. What it sells is the predictive behavior of an individual
Sure.
on the probability
And
of
how can it
he
do
could
that
manipulate
in a better way when it is able to tap into far more personalized data that people share on WhatsApp? Your tools will get
Exactly.
better and better. But my point is
Yes.
that would you want to do something like this? And today, an attempt has been made. Qasim Rizvi, you were there earlier also on our show. I want to ask you this question. Facebook, when it acquired WhatsApp, made a promise that there will be no data sharing. Today it is saying that, see, data is still with you, end-to-end encrypted. Respect for privacy is into our DNA. We are just only looking at the commercial aspect, only business accounts. What stops Facebook from diluting its own position further? It all boils down to trust.
No, absolutely, you're right. And I think which is why I think we need a data protection law in the country very soon, and it's in the
absolutely.
parliament. And we hope that there is an independent data regulator which can actually audit and review these policies when it happens in the future, so that we actually have a system of checks and balances. So I think that's very fundamental, and I think all the panelists also sort of talking about that. So I think that's very critical for India to move forward with. So we do need a data protection law. Now, having said that, with how Facebook purchased WhatsApp, we are also looking at when Facebook bought WhatsApp wasn't actually end-to-end encrypted. It became end-to-end encrypted after Facebook purchased it, and then they built in that technology here. So that's also something we need to understand from that perspective. As far as chats are concerned, and which is where I think the whole fundamental point over here is that Signal and WhatsApp both use the same protocol, which is the Signal protocol. So definitely, if tomorrow WhatsApp starts giving out personal chats, I don't think they will survive in the market. So definitely they are aware of that. I'm sure, I hope they're aware of that they can't really give out personal information as well, because that would spell doom for them. So it's not to say that, okay,
no, my
today
point is, one moment, Kasim, the point is you don't want to give out personal data, but see, you've differentiated between personal and metadata, data behind the data. My logic very simply is that here was a platform which was not supposed to give any data, whether personal or metadata, any data for that matter.
So I think we need to look at it.
It was a personal platform, simple.
Well, I think it still is a personal platform as far as information and personal information is concerned. What they are giving out very clearly is metadata, as you rightly pointed out. But I think also we need to look at it from a larger perspective of where law enforcement requirements come in. Now, you look at Signal, and Signal doesn't get any metadata, and I do believe Signal is better when it comes to privacy than any other of all these apps. But as an app grows and evolves, and as more and more people come on the application, there will be pressure from law enforcement agencies, which can happen in the future, where they will be forced to give out metadata. And that we are already seeing happening with WhatsApp and many other organizations. Sure. And that's a debate, and Udbhav and Gushabad have been driving a lot of the good discourse around it. The fact is that there is significant pressure from law enforcement to actually break encryption.
Law enforcement is one point, right? And that is mated into your the WhatsApp privacy document also, which I just read out. The point is not just law enforcement. The point is what it wants to do with any form of data, whether it is metadata, which is actually information about your data, not the actual data. Point is, this is dilution, no? From their earlier position that they had, this is a dilution, that at least one part of your information or information about your data we may want to monetize. Where does all of this end? And most importantly, the key word here is, as we wrap up this broadcast, thank you very much, gentlemen, is trust. In a situation like this, when more and more people are aware or getting aware of privacy, what WhatsApp has done, almost a my way or the highway approach, that by 8th of February, do say yes, otherwise don't use the app, has that opened the eyes of a lot of people in this country and the world over major concerns on privacy. Today it is metadata, tomorrow it will be something else, and some other story and a lovely advertisement will be presented to you. Think about it. Good night and goodbye.
How is Signal scaling up to match the growth, and at what speed?
We're basically all hands on deck. We've been losing a fair amount of sleep, but we've been scaling up our servers to make sure that we have enough capacity for all the users that want to use our app. And so far we've been able to manage the load. Obviously, I have a lot of experience doing this. I've been in the industry quite a while, we're excited because, the Indian country and people have really signed up quite considerably. And it's been exciting, to see so many people and get so much feedback and to already get tons of feature requests and things like that. I know that people are really excited to try out Signal and explore it. And it's a great opportunity for us.
Well, I hope you do get some sleep soon. Signal is now being compared to WhatsApp. Both products are founded by you and they're competing against each other. So how do you feel about that? And what do you think are the key features where Signal scores over WhatsApp?
I think that where Signal absolutely scores above WhatsApp is in the privacy category. You know, you see it in the privacy label in the app, in the iPhone app, placed in the App Store. And you see it in sort of how we build our product. We have privacy features, disappearing messages, things like that. Everything is encrypted, including your metadata. You know, we lead and win on privacy. Of course, you know, WhatsApp has, you know, 400 million users in India. It's a big market. There's a lot of excitement around WhatsApp in people's day-to-day lives. And we're just grateful for the opportunity to show the product to the people of India and to tell them that there's alternatives, help them learn about online privacy, digital privacy, help make sure that they make the right choices in securing their communications and their privacy.